Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really excited to explore a path to unleashing your full leadership potential. We'll be drawing insights from someone truly remarkable, Aysha Khan.
Yeah, Aysha Khan, her story and perspective are quite powerful.
If you haven't come across her work, she's currently the CISO and CIO at Treasure Data, so Chief Information Security Officer and Chief Information Officer.
Double duty, which is impressive in itself.
Exactly. And she has over 20 years in IT and security, mostly Fortune 500 companies. She's really known for aligning strategy with agile execution.
And building functions from the ground up, that's a key skill.
Definitely. Beyond the titles, she's also an advisor, an investor in early-stage startups, and a very passionate DEIB executive.
DEIB, diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. She seems to genuinely connect the dots between people, purpose, and performance.
That's the perfect way to put it. So our mission here today is to kind of distill the core insights from her journey, her teachings. We want to help you figure out how to foster your own growth, professionally, yes, but personally too.
Right, this isn't just a checklist for climbing the ladder. It's deeper.
It's about that inward journey to really create outward impact. Ready to dive in?
Let's do it.
Okay, so Aysha emphasizes two really critical elements for unlocking potential: exposure and role models. As we unpack this, maybe take a second, just think. Who comes to your mind when you hear role model?
It's interesting how she frames exposure. It's not just about what you do. Critically, it's about what you witness.
Witness. How so?
Well, it's about seeing the sheer range of possibilities out there. The more you observe, the more different paths and outcomes you experience, even vicariously.
The better you understand what's actually achievable for yourself.
Exactly. It broadens your horizons, fuels aspiration. You start thinking, maybe that's possible for me too.
Okay, that makes sense. And then role models. This is where she kind of flips the script a bit, right?
She really does. She challenges the whole idea of, idolizing them, putting them on a pedestal.
Which is what most of us tend to do, I think.
Right. But she suggests thinking of them more like mirrors.
Mirrors.
They reflect qualities you might already have, maybe dormant, or qualities you deeply aspire to develop. So when you admire something in someone else, that admiration often points to something within your own soul that wants to grow.
So it's less, I want to be them, and more, what they have resonates with something in me.
Precisely. It's a glimpse of your own potential reflected back.
That's a powerful reframe. But, is there still value in having someone truly aspirational, maybe someone who does feel a bit on a pedestal to strive towards? How do you balance that?
That's a great point. And I think Aysha wouldn't say don't admire or don't aspire. It's about how you use that admiration. Instead of just outward focus, I want that title they have, it's about internalizing it. Okay, I admire their strategic thinking. How can I cultivate that specific quality within myself?
I see. So the focus shifts inward.
Exactly. And her own background really highlights this. Growing up in Karachi, Pakistan,
Well,
the opportunities for women were frankly limited back then.
yeah. So her initial exposure, her access to diverse role models was quite constrained.
Hugely. Imagine starting from that point, seeing limited possibilities, yet still having this inner drive, this fire for something more.
That fire. She'd argue that was the reflection, something already inside her pushing against those limits.
That seems to be exactly her point. That inner spark was evidence of potential, even when the external world didn't fully reflect it yet.
Which brings us to this really pivotal moment in her life, a major turning point.
Yeah, around age 30, maybe 32, after her second daughter was born.
This is where the inward journey really kicks into high gear, right?
Absolutely. She talks about having achieved, what looks like success from the outside, good job, family, support system.
Material comfort, check.
Check. But there was this feeling, an unfulfilled sense. Something wasn't quite clicking on a deeper level.
That feeling a lot of people probably recognize.
I think so. And that feeling sparked this really intentional journey of self-discovery, turning inward.
How did she approach that? What did she actually do?
She's very open about it. She sought therapy, which is huge, found community support, really committed to practices like meditation and reflection.
Taking the time to actually look inside.
Yes, and through that process, she had this major realization.
Which was?
That what she'd been seeking externally, validation, maybe fulfillment, purpose, was actually within her all along.
Wow, so the key wasn't out there, it was in here.
That's the core of it. She stopped chasing external things and started cultivating her internal landscape. And that, paradoxically, changed everything externally.
Okay, let's connect that inward shift to her career.
Yeah.
Because the growth was, well, explosive.
It really was. She went from senior manager, skipping titles like head of security, director, straight to CISO, and then added CIO.
That kind of jump is highly unusual. Most people would attribute that to, I don't know, sharp elbows or relentless networking.
Right, the conventional explanations.
Yeah.
But Aysha points to two different things that grew from that inner work.
What are they?
First, intention of energy, and second, investing in others.
Okay, intention of energy. What does that mean in practice?
It means being incredibly deliberate about where you focus your mental and emotional resources. Once she got clear internally, her energy wasn't scattered chasing approval or the next rung. It was focused on her purpose, on what truly mattered.
So less wasted effort, more directed impact.
Exactly. That inner clarity made her actions more potent, more visible, almost effortlessly, and investing in others.
How does that fit in? Seems almost counterintuitive if you're trying to climb fast.
But it flows naturally from that clarity. When you're secure in your own mission, you genuinely want to lift others up, mentoring, sharing knowledge, supporting colleagues. It wasn't transactional networking for her.
It was about contribution.
Yes. Building genuine connections, strengthening the whole team, the whole organization. And that kind of leadership, that kind of impact, it gets noticed. It attracts opportunity.
So the outcome of all this inner work, it was clarity, purpose, this feeling of alignment.
And feeling genuinely fulfilled, energized, not drained by the climb.
And this shift from chasing to attracting opportunities. That's a fundamental change in approach.
Completely.
This really challenges how we typically think about success, doesn't it? We're often so focused on titles. Getting to the C-suite, getting a board seat.
That traditional linear path.
Yeah. But Aysha proposes something different.
She does. She talks about creating a portfolio of impact.
Portfolio of impact. I like that phrase. What does it mean?
It shifts the goalposts. Instead of just aiming for a specific title, you focus on building a diverse body of work, a collection of contributions that genuinely matter to you and have a positive effect.
So it's broader than just your main job title.
Much broader.
Yeah.
It's about the sum of your impact across different areas.
And look at her own portfolio. It's not just CSO and CIO.
Right. She's also an author, an advisor to multiple startups, an investor, a speaker, an executive coach, a life coach.
And importantly, she integrates being a mother and a wife into that picture, too.
Exactly. It's a testament to living a really multifaceted life, not trying to squeeze yourself into one box.
Which she argues is what we often do, right? We limit ourselves.
We do.
Yeah.
We have all these gifts, these interests, but we feel we have to pick one path, one label. And that, she says, actually shrinks our potential.
Instead of expanding it.
Yes. She suggests we can, in a way, have it all, but not in that old, frantic, juggling way. More in an integrated, authentic, nonlinear way.
Which brings us to that classic struggle, work-life balance.
Ah, yes. The eternal quest.
Usually pictured as these two separate bubbles, right? Personal life here, professional life there, constantly trying to keep them balanced, not letting one pop the other.
It feels like walking a tightrope, doesn't it? Precarious.
Totally. But Aysha offers a different way to think about it.
A pretty revolutionary one, actually. Instead of balance, she talks about alignment.
Alignment, not balance. What's the core difference?
Balance implies separation and potential conflict.
Yeah.
Two things you have to keep in check against each other. Alignment implies integration, synergy.
So how does she achieve alignment?
She talks about actively merging those bubbles. She doesn't see herself as either a mother-wife or a CIO advisor-author. She is all of those things.
They're not competing.
They're integrated aspects of her whole self. When things are aligned with her core purpose, her core values, they don't feel like separate burdens pulling her in different directions.
They become part of a cohesive whole.
Exactly. Alignment is the key, bringing your whole authentic self to everything you do.
Okay, alignment sounds fantastic, but, the big question is, how? How do we actually get there?
Right. It's not just a switch you flip. Aysha lays out a practical blueprint, 3 core steps.
Let's hear them.
Clarity, mission, and strategy.
Clarity, mission, strategy. Okay, let's start with clarity.
Clarity is all about understanding your why. Not just the surface why, like I want this job title,
Yeah.
but the why behind the why.
Digging deeper. What truly motivates you?
Yes. What's the fundamental reason driving your actions? She stresses that when you get clear on that reasoning, it changes everything. The external results, the promotions, the success, they become almost a byproduct.
A byproduct of being aligned with your deep why.
Precisely.
Okay, step 2.
Mission. Mission is about defining your core value proposition to the world. How do you uniquely contribute?
How do you figure that out? That sounds big.
She offers 4 really helpful questions to decode it. Ask yourself. 1, what comes naturally to me?
Okay, things that feel effortless.
Yeah. 2, what are my genuine strengths? 3, what truly brings me joy?
Joy is important.
Crucial. And 4, what keeps me going when things get tough? What fuels my resilience?
Naturalness, strengths, joy, resilience.
When you can answer those, she says, and you start operating from that space, playing to your strengths, you become, in her words, unbeatable.
Because you're working with your nature, not against it.
Exactly. You're tapping into your unique, authentic power source.
Okay, so we have clarity on the why, mission on the what's and how. What's the third step? Strategy.
Strategy is about finding frameworks that help you put it all together, frameworks that resonate personally. And the one she often highlights is the Japanese concept of Ikigai.
Ah, Ikigai. I've heard of that. It's about finding your reason for being, right?
That's a good way to put it. It's basically finding that sweet spot where different aspects of your life and work intersect harmoniously.
Can you break down how Ikigai works? What are the components?
Sure. Think of it as 4 overlapping circles, or 4 key questions. First, what do you love? This taps into your passion and your mission.
Okay, what you love. Got it.
Second, what does the world need? This connects your mission to your vocation, how you can serve.
Or what the world needs, right.
Third, what can you be paid for? This links your vocation to your profession, practical realities.
The economic aspect. Makes sense.
And fourth, what are you naturally good at? This connects your profession back to your passion, your inherent talents.
Love, need, paid for, good at.
Exactly. And Ikigai, that sweet spot, lies right in the middle at the intersection of all 4.
That's where it all comes together.
That's where you find your purpose, unlock your deepest strengths, and really, as Aysha puts it, get your engine going. It provides a map for aligning your life and work.
It's a really compelling framework. Clarity, mission, strategy, using Ikigai. It feels actionable.
It does. It moves these ideas from abstract concepts to something you can actively work on.
So wrapping this up, if we had to boil down the core message from Aysha Khan's experience, what would it be?
I think it's that the outward journey, career success, impact, whatever that looks like for you, it genuinely has to start with that transformative journey inward.
You can't bypass the inner work?
It seems not. Not if you want sustainable, fulfilling success. And when you shift your focus, when you stop chasing the external markers like money or titles,
And focus instead on impact, fulfillment, living your mission, using your strengths.
then those external things tend to follow naturally. They become byproducts of living an aligned life.
Yeah.
It's about attracting, not chasing.
That's such a profound shift. Really changes the game.
It really does.
So a final thought maybe for everyone listening, drawing from Aysha's insights. Think about those role models again. Who are the people reflecting back parts of your own unfulfilled potential? What are those qualities you admire?
Yeah.
And then how can you use that awareness, maybe starting today, not waiting for tomorrow, to intentionally design your own unique portfolio of impact? Not just a career, but a whole life of impact.
It's about taking ownership of that design. And remembering, as Aysha's journey shows us, with that clarity, that alignment, and importantly, self-love and acceptance, your potential is truly boundless.